Dr. Aani and Dr. Aani.
About the Syrian American Forum, I would like to really have a disclaimer that I want to first welcome Dr. Bashar al-Jafari as the U.S. Ambassador of the U.S., the Syrian Ambassador to the United Nations, and Archbishop Luca Al-Khoury will be with us and our guest. And our disclaimer is that the Syrian American Forum is an independent organization that is governed by the U.S. law, and it's established according to that. Friends and colleagues, and we gather here today really saddened by what's happening and developing in our mother country, Syria. I'm sure all of you share my concerns about the events and the future of our country, Syria, and mother country, Syria, and the future of the bridges that we as expatriates build and has been building between the United States and Syria since we immigrated and became and adopted the United States as our second country. I am confident as well that we are all concerned that the policies adopted by the United States administration with regards to the Syrian issue are not in the best interest of the United States national security. Moreover, this will, and these policies will definitely lead to an increased instability in Syria, in the region, and will lead and will contribute to the surge of the extremism, which we don't like. Syria nowadays is threatened. The mosaic of the Syrian society is endangered. Weapons and financing provided by the West and other countries are killing innocent people, destroying places of worship, and threatening the world. We need to do and what's necessary and be patriotic. We need to protect the United States, just like we need to protect our mother country, Syria. This can be done only through the promotion of dialogue, democracy, and secularism, and enhancing these and the unity of the Syrian people. All of these values do not exist in the dictionary of the extremists and the fundamentalists. A group of us concerned about the Syrian American, a group of us as Syrian American could not stand idle about 2 years ago. We decided that we should raise our voice and express our opinion. And by that, we established the Syrian American Forum, and SAF is the short for short SAF. The SAF organization was established in accordance with the US laws and governs politics and social activities. SAF, as I said in my disclaimer, is a totally independent organization, solely financed by its members. It does not accept any financial contribution from any foreign entity or organization. SAF is not for profit, and that seeks and aims to educate the Syrian American community and the general public as to the political, social, and the economic events occurring in the United States and Syria. By doing that, SAF seeks to raise the public awareness about Syria. SAF aims to influence the decision makers and the media to properly understand the complex situation in Syria. The media has been unfortunately very biased, and we've seen that. How do we achieve that? And SAF advocates the following principles, and we really adhere to these principles to the point. First principle is really rejection of violence and foreign intervention in our mother country, Syria. Syrian national reconciliation and unity can be done only through dialogue. Gradual transition to a political system agreed on by all Syrians. Preservation of the sovereignty and the territorial integrity and the unity of Syria. We want secular Syria with equal rights to all. And on top, a better United States and Syrian relationship. These are our principles, and we really adhere to them. How do we do that? How can we really change the change and contribute to a change? SAF empowers its members, friends, and supporters to engage with politicians, with academicians, and the media on a local and a national level. SAF will seek to achieve its aim through participation and dialogue with members of the Congress and the officials of all parties and the general public. Most important, SAF seeks to be the melting pot and unifying platform for all diverse and constructive currents in our Syrian community. We need people to have a constructive, not destructive. Debates and the dialogue are strongly encouraged and promoted among different and varying Syrian groups, regardless of their position and on the Syrian conflict. The mission of SAF really resonates throughout the United States. Everybody knows where Syria is now. And as all the segments of the society have taken interest in the future of Syria and the consequences of the events that's taking place there. Members, friends, and supporters of SAF are empowered to seek the appropriate venues for their participation and the promotion of the values, of their values and their principles according to the principles of the SAF and their guidelines. We're putting the headlines. As long as you work with these headlines and you agree with these headlines, you can do whatever it takes to help the organization grow and have the influence on our mother country, Syria. And to protect the U.S. security because what's happening is not in the best interest of the United States security. The American principles of freedom and the expression and human rights are among the basic guidelines of the Syrian American Forum efforts. The virtue of these principles are threatened by the current trends of the U.S. policy towards Syria. SAF deems it necessary for the Syrian American community to promote their views and educate the general public and officials about the threats of the current trends affecting these events in Syria. My friends, the events in our mother country have taken a turn Silence is not an option anymore. We've been saying that for the past 2 years. We have all to contribute, each according to our abilities and capabilities, to hold the downturn and move towards building a new Syria with the aim for a Syria where all the citizens can live in peace and harmony with equal rights. This is our time. We need to work. We cannot stay silent. In spite of the fact that the prevailing voice is the voice of Syrian enemies. We've seen that over the past 2 years. There are many who still do not share that opinion. SAFs encourage the US administration to get involved in Syria, not by giving weapons, by putting pressure on the parties they support to drop their weapons and move toward a peaceful dialogue, not toward more killing and destruction. This is in the best interest of the United States national security and the Syrian people to have the United States be involved in pressuring the groups they support to drop their weapons and go towards dialogue. The solution has to come from the Syrian, and the Syrian alone can determine the destiny of the Syrian. There are 24 million Syrians living in Syria. We cannot dictate, and no government or a foreign government can dictate what the Syrian people wants. What we have to do is to keep the momentum going forward. Once the wheel has begun to turn, it will continue with an energy that will come from within it. Our task is to help and guide. All of us, everywhere in the United States, that share these opinions, we are a powerful force. In our heart, we know that this is the right thing to do. And our mission statement really sums it, of what we want to do. It's really incredible what you can do when you are all together sharing the same opinion. All our hearts is in the right place and unified. We know that there is ways to go still, but we will be able to do so being fired up with energy, enthusiasm, and love for our mother country, Syria, and our adopted country, the United States. What we're doing is the right thing and patriotic to the United States and our mother country, Syria. I never cease to be amazed by our sense of optimism, self-belief, and the certainty that I have been surrounded by. It's really a pleasure to work with so many people, and over the past couple of years, I had so many friends that I did not know before and became friends and are willing and helpful and share the same cause that I do and all of us believe in. At this stage, the moment is closer than it has ever been. With the wheel in motion, what we have to do is focus on our direction and how can we help. We have come a long way, and without doubt, we are going to serve our nations with truth prevailing. I want to finish by quoting Khalil Gibran, "Young Americans of Syrian origin, I believe in you."